Hello and welcome to the State of the Mets. I'm Andrew Vazano of TheRopolitans.com, and this is my weekly web show all about the New York Mets. Today we'll be covering Livan Hernandez, Nick Evans, and a possibility for the bullpen.
And it's out of here!
First up, we've got Livan Hernandez. Hernandez is in camp on a minor league deal, but it looks like he'll be coming up to the major league roster, and he will be the fifth starter for the Mets when they need him, probably around the second week of the season. Hernandez beat out other contenders like Freddie Garcia, who just pitches like a shell of his former self now, John Neese, who recently, today, was sent down to minor league camp, and guys like Bobby Parnell and Tim Redding. Tim Redding's obviously on the DL, so he's not going to be a factor. He'll probably end up being the long man out of the bullpen once he returns. Hernandez is a decent pitcher. He will eat innings, which is something the Mets do need. It will help save the bullpen, but he does give up a lot of runs and he does give up a lot of hits. So for Mets fans, with Hernandez on the mound, be ready for, maybe 6 innings, but maybe 5 runs during those 6 innings. So the Mets are just going to have to pretend Livan Hernandez is Steve Traxel, and they're going to have to score a lot of runs for him. People have been telling Hernandez that he can, quote, win 15 games in New York, and it is possible. You just have to have run support from your offense. So with the Mets, they're going to need to support Hernandez when he's on the mound. He's going to give up runs, but he's going to eat innings, which is a key thing to saving the bullpen, keeping it fresh throughout the season, and keeping them in the game. So it may not be the best move, but for right now, it looks like Livan Hernandez is the 5th starter. He beat out all the other candidates fair and square. He's pitched well during spring training, and here's to a hopefully good season with Hernandez in the 5th spot. Next up, we've got Nick Evans. Now, Evans has been tearing the cover off the ball so far this spring training, but it looks like he's heading for AAA Buffalo. The Mets really just don't have a position for him on the team. To back up Carlos Delgado at first base, they already have Marlon Anderson and Fernando Tatis. To play right field, which he's going to start today, they already have Ryan Church. Left field, another position, they have Daniel Murphy and Fernando Tatis again. So there's really no position for him, and to get the kid every day at bats, he's 2 years older than me, to get him every day at bats, he's going to probably end up in the minor leagues. There's really no position for him on the team right now, and if he can't put up power numbers, I can't see him starting at first base next year when Carlos Delgado's contract expires. Obviously, you don't need to have power numbers to play first base, but the way the team is built, there's really no major power numbers outside of third base and center field. Maybe Church can do something, you never know. But the Mets are looking at first base to have a certain number of home runs, a certain number of RBIs, and I don't know if Evans can put that up. Maybe if he plays this whole season in the minor leagues and really impresses, they'll stick with him and go with him for first base next year. Outside of that, I don't know where he's going to fit with this team, and I actually can see him being traded sometime this year. For what, I don't know, but I just don't see where he's going to play out in the next few years with this Mets organization. He's really been impressing so far this spring, and it's really giving Jerry Manuel a hard time of where to play him or if to keep him with the major league team once camp breaks. But it remains to be seen where Evans is going to play. I think he'll end up in AAA Buffalo, and I think he'll actually get traded sometime this year.
And it's out of here!
And finally, I have a possibility for the bullpen. Now, if you read my blog, you know I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't try and find a position for any player that hits the waiver wire or gets cut by a team, but this is a special circumstance, and I know the Mets do need to fill this position. The player is Jimmy Gobble, a 1999 Kansas City Royals first-round draft pick who has spent his entire career with the organization. The Royals cut him this week. Last year, lefties only hit 200 against him, while righties hit 382. So he's a left-handed specialist at best, but he's something the Mets might take a look at if they're going to keep Darren O'Day, the Rule 5 draft pick from the Los Angeles Angels, in their bullpen. Obviously, O'Day would face righties, while Gobble could face lefties. Situational, obviously, they're not going to throw him out for a full inning. They're going to put him again in against lefties only and see what he can do. I mean, a 200 batting average against lefties last year is very good. If they can sign him to a cheap minor league deal, bring him into camp, just to see what he can do, see if he can still pitch, see if he can still perform. If not, they can maybe send him down to AAA, have him come up if needed, if there's an injury, or if somebody, you never know. It's never good. It's always good to have more arms than you need. So I think the Mets should take a look at Gobble, and if they can bring him into camp cheap, why not? So that's it for this week's The State of the Mets. I'm Andrew Visano of TheRopolitans.com. Thanks for watching, and let's go Mets!
Bring your wife, guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball.